What's going on, folks? And y'all thought Terry was done. He's still in the kitchen. I had to change the name of the freaking show. I had to change the damn thumbnail. It's all good, though. It was for good reasons. So, yeah, we got a special guest tonight. Let's get at it. And welcome in to episode 96 of Out of Your Falcon Mind, Atlanta Falcons fan cast. My name is John, your host, as always, joined by my boy Mike. 96, buddy. What's going on?
96, buddy. I'm feeling elderly, but I love it, buddy. Out of Your Falcon Mind, the craziest Falcon show alive. Let's go.
Coming here from the Variety Sports Network, as always. Make sure you guys check out Variety Sports and VSN Football. You can catch our show there and a bunch of other football shows, XFL shows. It's just a great channel to go if you want to look at other teams, see what our opponents are looking like. Might find some shows there that are good to watch. Buddy, we got a special guest tonight, contributor to the Falcoholic. Let's go ahead and bring him in, Mr. Ev Glaze. What's going on, brother?
Glaze.
Fellas, what's up?
Man, it's good to have Glaze pays, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Glaze the man over at Falcoholic.
No, I do what I can. You know how it rolls.
Commonly known as the most rational person on Twitter. Commonly known.
Close.
Everybody knows this.
I mean, we do. We see you out there fighting a good fight, man. Like
every day.
It's tough. It's
a daily battle, my man. It's
always
daily.
Always. It's and there's just varying levels of how crazy it gets. Some days are worse than others. And like a few days ago when somebody was named starting quarterback, and it just went crazy, So I mean, it's.
You know what though? I saw that coming.
Oh yeah.
The writing was on the wall for that to go down the way it did. So that's nothing new.
Oh, 100%, man.
Before we even get started, John Yates, I want to give Glaze the floor, okay? Because what happened a few days ago was he said something about Mike Vick on Twitter, okay? And they came for his head. I mean, I would have known better. You can't talk about Mike Vick. It's like now I'm gonna give you the floor so you can clear up or make whatever point you was trying to make before the entire Twitter space came down on your head. Go ahead, Mr. Glaze.
You know, that entire thing. First of all, I knew that's what was how it's going to play out, because you can't talk about Vic to the Falcons fans. It just doesn't roll well. It doesn't go well. But the point I was making before everybody decides to misconstrue the statement, which everybody does, nobody reads it at face value. They take it all the way over here. And the point I was making was accuracy was a problem with Mike Vick. Common knowledge. When he came out of college, that was one of the knocks on him. He had a cannon of an arm, but he was inaccurate, and it reared its ugly head. His rookie year and the years preceding that. So when I said that, it's like, oh, you're jumping on Mike Vick. Said, no, I'm telling the truth. He had accuracy issues coming into the league. Everybody knows this. And what I was saying was, okay, so basically what you're telling me is, since Desmond Ridder's a 3rd round pick, so we're saying that because Mike Vick was the 1st overall, his inaccuracies don't mean much because he's that. And that's when the cavalry came. And I'm thinking, why are you guys upset about a fact? I mean, it's a fact. He had inaccuracy issues. There's nothing personal about that. He did. He can tell you the same thing if you talk to him. So I just don't understand how it is funny. It is funny. It's like, don't you dare talk about Mike.
Oh, they came on Mike's head.
Did I say anything about what he did off the field? How am I attacking him?
You actually didn't mention it.
I didn't mention it.
You didn't even mention it.
It was all football, but they got personal to them.
Now, dog. All he said was the man he struggled with his accuracy, and they came down on your head like you said something about Obama. I'm saying it's Obama, Vic. It's some black people you can't talk about, and
you would think Vic was their brother or the nephew or the cousin or something. The way they came out, I'm like, dang.
But hey, man, you held your own, and that's what mattered. You stayed the course of your point, which I appreciated, buddy. You didn't fold.
Hey, you have to with this crew, man. I mean, you can't falter with this crew, because if they're like wolves. If they see blood, they really pounce you.
Oh yeah, yeah. We actually had to do a few. Oh yeah. We had to do a few shows ago. We had to actually show Vic's like completion percentage to kind of prove that point. Like, yeah, guys, it was like 52%. Like, it's like not good at all.
And we all love Michael Vick.
Absolutely.
Exactly. There was
all three of us love the man.
Vic. There was no personal attack. I didn't talk about the boy's mama. I didn't talk about what he did outside of, I didn't talk about any of that. It was a fact that he had accuracy issues. I mean, he had a cannon, but he was overthrowing everybody under the moon. And on top of that, he wasn't even into the playbook, and he'll admit that to everyone.
He said that himself.
Yeah, he admitted it. So, I mean, they get mad about the strangest things in Atlanta, man.
Coming out hot, Mike Vick. I love it.
Yep.
And
I was ready for the smoke that day.
I saw you.
I was ready.
And before we even get into, guys, if y'all are watching for the first time, hey, welcome in and come on back. We've gained a lot of different followers over the last, 2 months, probably, ever since Mike did the 10 stages being a Falcons fan.
That's pretty dope, by the way.
Appreciate it. And so, anyway, you make sure you hit that like button for us. It helps us get out there to more Falcons fans. And 2 things. We are now on Amazon Radio, and we're now on iHeartRadio. Nice. Jeff Bezos called up Mike and said, hey.
Jeff Bezos called me and said he needed us on Amazon, or he was going to shut Amazon down if I didn't say yes. So I had to sign over the rights. Sorry.
That's right. And on our audio platforms, we just went over 4,000 listens about a week ago. Nice. So appreciate you guys on that, man. And what's crazy is the last episode when we had Savion and Fleek, and Mike's microphone went out and everything went out, actually. I figured it wouldn't be that much of a listen to podcast because we did a live mock draft, and doesn't really translate that well. Y'all made it the most listened to one we've had so far. So thanks for doing that. That was crazy.
And I'm proud and offended. The show I was kicked off was the highest rated. So y'all, I'm an offended person. I'm hurt. Okay.
Go figure, man. Go figure. And then the one before that, with the Terry was cooking with who was with that? Was that Kenny?
Was that Kenny?
I don't know. Yeah, it might have been. But anyway, that one went. That's been our most watched episode, man. So and I know it's small beans to a lot of the creators out there, but us being kind of new guys, man, it was great to see like over 500 on there.
Kenny has topped the charts twice because the first time he came on, it was the highest rated. Then the second time he came on, it was the highest rated. Go Kenny, I love you, buddy.
Yeah, man. And I think we're at 372 subscriptions now. So if we can get to 400, our goal is 400 by the draft, and we'll just keep on moving up from there. So feel free, man. If y'all haven't hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do that.
It was Flick. I'm sorry.
It was Flick. It was Flick. My bad.
I don't want to take away from Flick. I still love you, Kenny, but it was Flick, buddy.
You're right. Daniel Flick. Yep. My bad, Daniel. All right. And lastly, man, so everybody we have on, man, we always kind of go through a few little questions with you, like how your Falcon fandom started. So what year? What got you to be a fan? Was it a player? Would you grow up here? What's the story?
Here's the interesting thing. Basically, for the most part, I just grew up in Georgia. I'm a part of a football family, so I mean, almost everybody in my family played the game. And I had an uncle that played in the league. Had a cousin that played in the league. I got to see a lot of that when he was going through the process. So I had an intimate view of what he goes through as a rookie. And the year, that's tough one, because what really got it was funny is because I was an LA Rams fan. I don't know how that happened, but that's what it was. But when prime time became a Falcon, that sealed it, because at that particular point, the swag that he played with, and even to this day, I believe he's one of the most gifted athletes to ever play the game.
100%.
I mean, to see that dude it was like he was at one speed and everybody else was just trailing behind him. It was just insane. And when that started, and then the Jerry Glanville and when the Georgia Dome was built and that whole 9 yards, that's when I was deeply into the Falcons at that particular point, and I never turned back since. And that was years ago. I can't even remember what time that was ago, but that's when it really started, and it's been like that ever since. Yep, it's been like that ever since.
Yeah, the science is we're probably about around the same age, because that's exactly when Mike and I both started. We were about 10, 11 years old, and that was just took off, man. And they hadn't, like I said, hadn't looked back yet. Yeah, right around there. Yeah. And we got an email, guys, and Ev, there's a question here you can actually respond to as well.
Okay.
And this email is from Brian. Appreciate you, Brian.
Brian.
He said, I started listening to you guys on Spotify about 6 months ago and have been able to catch a few live shows. And I got to tell you, that's where it's at. I still enjoy listening but when I miss the live shows, I think y'all do a great job with it. Love how you guys involve other creators. And Mike, the 10 stages is truly a masterpiece. So,
well, thank you, buddy.
I haven't been this excited about an off season in forever, but I got to ask, do you guys think Terry Fontenot even considered Lamar, or they just been out from the beginning? For the next show, can y'all tell me?
Hold on, look at Ev. He didn't even let you finish it. He already reacted facially. Go ahead, I already seen it.
For the next show, can y'all tell me what y'all are, what we're doing at 8? Like, what would you do if you feel in your gut what you're going to do at 8?
Fix
keep killing it, guys.
Fix it.
Well, thank you so much, Brian.
Brian, I appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, so Ev, you take it, buddy. Do you think?
Come on.
Okay. Based on what I heard, Lamar Jackson wasn't even in the discussion. He wasn't.
You heard that here first. Now I haven't even heard that. Come on, Ed. Come on with it.
Now, because of Fontenot is the way he is, of course he's going to ask around. But that's about as far as it went. He wasn't going to deep dive into it, and I've gotten into multiple debates over this because people was like, well, they went after Deshaun Watson, so why wouldn't they go after Lamar Jackson? Two totally different scenarios. And when I say that, people take offense because they think I'm referring to Deshaun Watson as because he has such a serious, he has a lot of baggage behind him, and Lamar Jackson doesn't. I said that's not the situation I'm referring to. First and foremost, Deshaun Watson is really, really thick. He is thick as thieves with Arthur Blank and Rich McKay. They go all the way back.
Yeah.
And the second part about that is, while Fontenot had, he was wondering about that whole thing. That whole thing didn't even start until Deshaun Watson picked up the phone and called blank. That's what started that process. So that being stated, now also, this is the most important. I want you guys to listen very closely when I say this. Deshaun Watson was available for trade. That's the biggest difference. Everybody knew that the Texans were going to trade Deshaun Watson. All the GMs knew it, so they started going in. Baltimore has not even remotely stated that Lamar Jackson is available. Every press conference they say, "Oh, we want Lamar. We want him here. We want him." Yeah, you can say they have to say that, but the truth of the matter is, it has to be some truth to it. Otherwise, you will see GMs and teams actually going after Lamar Jackson. They know better than the public does. And then on top of that, when Lamar Jackson even stated that he asked for a trade early in March, oh my goodness, did you see all the tweets? Oh, can we go after him now?
Yeah.
Did y'all catch the first part of that? It was early March. We're in late March right now. So yeah, they knew. It changes absolutely nothing. So that being said,
Exactly right.
Lamar Jackson is not available. For that reason, Fontenot was not interested in pursuing him. Period.
There you go,
Man, you just
Brian.
got,
There's your
I'm
answer.
gonna tell you, he should be a smooth jazz up. Now that was the smoothest, calmest answer that you could ever ask for. You got
And
to love that.
we'll get to the second part of the question later on in the show, Brian. So we'll talk about the draft later on. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt, man. When the news came out, I was like, well, this doesn't really change anything. I mean, what does it change? I mean, like the guys, I mean, they've already said they were out. And what Arthur said, if anybody saw Arthur Blank's comments with Steve Weish the other day, I mean, I think it was Steve Weish. He said, that was just exactly what you said. With Deshaun, it was a different person, different time, different situation, and this is a little different. He said, this is the first time in a long time we've had the luxury of having this amount of cap space. Mm-hmm. And he's like, because we've never had that before. And he's like, it's up to Terry to explore the different opportunities, but nothing sounded like it was ever, really thought about.
And let me address something that I had a debate with one of my colleagues about. He was like, the reason why people think that they will go after Lamar Jackson is because they went after Deshaun Watson. And I said, you know what? The fact that they went after Deshaun Watson is the exact reason why they will not go after Lamar Jackson.
I got you. Great point.
So what got me was, and you know what? The media fed into it too. And when the media got involved, the fans went nuts and they just absolutely positively knew there was some truth to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't. There was truth to it. So when it finally came out, and then everybody decided they wanted to be upset, and I never understood that part. I'm thinking Fontenot, Smith, nor Blank never hinted at the fact that they were interested. So why all of this anger? I can't quite understand that part.
Yeah, I mean, everybody just assumed that he'd be a great fit in the offense, and he would be amazing here, and it would excite the fan base. It would fill the stadium and everything. All that stuff came out, and that's probably true. Like, I mean, there'd be a ton of folks who would go show up for him. It's 100% true. I think it'd be exciting as hell. But like, what killed me was people finding it like Shannon Sharp today went off about it. I was like, dude, like, did you do you consider what he's saying? Like, if it's what kind of money he's talking about? And actually, there was a tweet, I think it was by Stephen Holder at ESPN. That he's at the owners meeting now. He said, regardless of what the Colts or anyone else might love about Lamar Jackson, the very clear stance for people here at the owners meetings I've talked to is that whatever contract demands he is currently making are absolutely a non-starter. So if he's wanting some crazy amount of guaranteed money, then it shouldn't surprise anybody that owners gonna be like, maybe not. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
precedent.
Yeah, but what's interesting about that is, I've heard many, with conspiracy theories talking about collusion and things of that sort.
Right.
You can consider that, but at the same time, GMs, they know what's going on, on the inside. They know what Baltimore was doing in regards to Lamar Jackson. That's why Fontenot came out so quickly when they non-exclusively tagged him and said, no, we're not involved in that. We're not going to, because they never were.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't one of those things where, oh, they thought about it, and then as soon as they said it, no, we're just going to say.
Yeah.
But for him, it was never an option. Because honestly, this is how I feel that like the whole thing went. After that whole thing with Deshaun Watson went down, and let me remind everyone that Deshaun Watson got $230 million fully guaranteed from Cleveland, and Atlanta wasn't willing to match that. And Deshaun Watson is Arthur Blank's boy. So what on earth makes you think?
There you go. There you
They
go.
were even going to, to entertain that with Lamar Jackson. See, that's what I was like. People are just not paying attention. That's when some people aren't paying attention to the situations or what specifically happened for that reason. So when I see people going off in the media, I mean, the media hasn't let this go, and they're not going to for a while now, and that's fine.
I have 2 points to this. Is I think that the media wanted us to have him more than the actual people in Georgia, like the fans. It was more of a media thing. You should get Lamar Jackson, and that influences stupider fans. And I want to say this too: stupider people have to have excitement in order to even acknowledge talent. Like, it can't be boring. It can't be like Matt Ryan and you acknowledge it. It has to be Michael Vick for you to acknowledge it. If you're dumber. That's no offense to dumb people listening, because I'm dumb on certain topics, but you might be dumb if you can't see. So I'm not saying that Desmond is the man, but I'm saying that I've seen that are people in this world that if you're not exciting and it's not, oh my God, like if you're not on like Madden on like 99, then they just see you as, I don't want him as my quarterback, or he's a bum average player. And you can't be like that. You got to understand the game of football better than that.
But you know what's interesting about that is when you see Twitter say, "Oh, Desmond Ridder is ass," it's like, okay, and you just I just roll past it, because that's when they have no clue what they're talking about in regards to the whole situation, and that's fine. Just don't come to me like you act like you know what you're talking about, because you're going to get blasted. So just keep your opinions to yourself, because it's not going to go well for you.
Yeah, there's been quite a few. The mute button's been very, very useful over the last, month or so.
Because honestly, when I see somebody call him ass or mid, I'm thinking to myself, you don't know what you're talking about, so I'm going to mute before I embarrass you. So, and that's, and like you were right, Mike. It's one of those things where it's the excitement element.
Yeah,
that's really that Lamar Jackson is, because if we're being honest with each other, Lamar Jackson hasn't even had a 3,500-yard season. Let alone a 4,000-yard season. The most the most yards he completed was in his MVP season. That was like 3,300.
Yeah,
he hasn't even eclipsed 4,000. So nobody talks about that part. And listen to me, I'm not, Lamar Jackson is my dude. I think he's a very exciting player. He has a lot to offer to the game. But if you're going to talk football when you talk about him, because I mean, talking about excitement is one thing, and that's, to me, I felt like, now I'm just going to be honest with you, I was on the side of let's not get him. That's where I was, because we've had the franchise quarterback, yet I mean, not a lot of people like Ryan. There was a lot of discourse in regards to Ryan, because they saw him a certain specific way. But for me, as much as he did for that franchise, he deserves to be in the Ring of Honor, and maybe even a possible Hall of Fame candidate.
Man, but amplify his mic, John. Amplify his mic.
Because he wasn't exciting.
No, yes.
They take him down a peg.
Yep.
It's a big thing. So, I mean, people like to bring up stats when it suits them. But as soon as you bring up something that, completely throws them off, then all of a sudden, he's just ass. Okay. Go ahead, man.
Exactly right. We're going to hop in the chat real quick and see what's going on there. Kenny said, what's up, fellas?
Kenny, my man.
He said, I'm confident with DR4 as our QB, especially with all the moves Uncle Terry is making across the board, especially here in today. We got CC that I always wanted on the team. Let's go. Yeah, man. Thanks to Alberto, man, our boy from 95 Sports talk show.
Nice.
He texted me. I woke up this morning. I woke up, looked over at my phone, I had a text from him saying, hey, we just signed Calais. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, that's a great way to start the day right there.
Man, let me tell you something real quick about Calais Campbell. I had just woken up.
Same
I'm
here.
talking like I'm like wiping the crust out my eyes, about to go to the
Exactly.
bathroom. And I picked my phone up. I was like, wait, what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did I see that right? I said, watch. I bet you I'm just gonna wake up from a dream and then be pissed off. But I
Yeah.
looked again and I looked again. I said, oh, damn. And the only reason why it surprised me was that he was supposed to be meeting with who? What? He had
Jets
two other
and
meetings
Bills.
later this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was with Buffalo
Yeah. And the
and
Jets.
the Jets. And so I just knew he was going to see it all the way up because he could have taken his time in regards to the entire process because he's been doing this for forever. So I just knew we weren't going to hear anything until next week. I had already made up in my mind that we weren't going to hear anything
Same
about
here.
Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
What I did know is that we had a really good chance of snagging him based on what I had heard. But what I also heard was he was going to take his time before he made his decision. So I was completely floored.
Yeah, I thought maybe, with the Bills, something like that, he maybe, obviously he's 37, I think, in September.
Yeah.
Maybe want to sign with somebody who maybe really has a serious chance of getting a ring this year. But I mean, he said in his comments, he said that, he thinks he's excited what we're doing here and with the additions that we've made, and we could surprise a lot of people this year. So,
and you can't. He came in the spring. He seen them girls in Atlanta. Trust me, he came in the spring at the right time, and that man said, "I don't need to see nothing else." He didn't even go visit the other. I'm cool, and I'm happy he did it. He made everybody.
You better believe, as soon as he goes to Flowery Branch and signs that contract, that night they're going to Magic City and get them.
There you go,
things, bruh.
There you go. Jesse Bates, you see, he came in, he hung out. You see what happened? Just one night in Atlanta, change your life.
That's all it takes.
That's
the
it,
truth.
Man.
That's all it
That
takes.
is it. Vic, what's going on, buddy?
What up, Vic?
We made a live show. Let's go. What's going on, Kendra? Good to see you.
What up?
Fleek, what's happening, brother?
Come on,
Good to
man.
see you, dude. Vic said, nice set. Yeah, appreciate it, buddy. Hey, MLB starts tomorrow, man. Go Braves. That's
There
what
you
I'm
go.
Ant, what's going on, buddy?
Ant, what up, man?
Jordan said, hey, what's up, Falcons fan? Ready for another great show. Appreciate it, Jordan. And he said, the talent just keeps rolling in, guys. I'm out of my Falcon mind.
Man, we got Ev on the show. Come on, man. We just taking it up a notch. Miss Pam, what's going on?
Anthony said, what's up, Glaze?
What's up?
What's going on, man? This is Trayshawn.
Man, yeah, it's obvious. I hate Vic, man. I'm telling you, I hate him. I hate that.
Oh, man. What's going on, man? Giving Game Sports Talk, man. Make sure y'all check him out, man. What's going on? I appreciate that, dude. Appreciate that. Taylor Vip, man, what's going on, man? So rise up.
Taylor, what's up?
Miss B, what's happening?
Miss B.
Arthur Blank said, or Miss B said Arthur Blank shouldn't have explained that. He talked too much.
Oh, yeah, he really did. He should have kept a lot of that to himself.
Yeah, exactly right. Uncle Steve, what's happening, man?
Steve.
Make sure y'all check out Uncle Steve's Lounge, man. Great show, great dude, man. Great content. What's up, guys? I think it's similar to the draft in 21 when folks wanted Justin Fields. When your team is losing year after year, we just want quick fixes. Ritter makes sense, but we can dream. Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring up the whole Justin Fields thing, and I've responded to that as well. Now, I've always said for a GM that's just coming in, if you don't love a QB prospect, do not take him because you're tying your career to him.
Yeah, facts.
Now, for me, if he had gone after Fields at the 4th overall pick, I would have been cool with it, simply because that means that he loves him as a prospect, and he's going to ride out with him.
Mm-hmm.
But because he didn't, I was fine with it, and that's the reason why. He didn't love him as a prospect. As a GM, you can't do that and keep your job, And the funny thing is, I'm not exactly sure. Like with the Jets did at 2nd overall, that was a big mess. So that's what I'm saying. You can't do that and expect to keep your job for very long. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they didn't go after Fields, it didn't bother me. I liked him as a prospect, but at the same time, if Fontenot didn't feel a certain type of way about him as a QB, I was cool with him passing on him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't love him. Because what you don't do, you don't settle at the QB position.
No.
Yeah. You just don't. Because that's a career killer. So if they weren't feeling that way about Fields, hey, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. MSB said, but you just brought up stats, make it make sense. I'm not sure exactly where. Maybe we were talking about with.
Because he said that people bring up stats and it like suits the argument sometimes. And she said, but you just brought up stats. Make it make sense. She came right for your head, Glaze. She came right out the gate and swung at your head.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing about bringing up stats. Stats are just a number, but they are, they can either make a play or break a play, no matter how you shake it. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't normally. I'm gonna tell you guys a little secret. I don't like PFF. I don't believe in quantifying. I don't believe in quantifying play on the field. Maybe it's because I'm hating and I didn't come up with it first. But I'm just saying, I don't believe in quantifying play on the field using numbers. I never have. I mean, stats can tell a story, but if you're going to bring up stats, we can bring them all up. That's what I mean when I say that.
Yeah,
I look at film, I look at players, and I look how they react to certain situations.
Right.
Some people love bringing up stats. So if you want to do that, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to go the way you want it to because you felt like you had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I am with that. I normally don't do it, but a lot of people have a tendency to throw that in my face, and I just have to throw it back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same thing with PFF. We use it occasionally, but and the reason we will use it is it's the one of the few things that everybody's kind of, if you want to call it graded on equally. So you can at least kind of see, even though some of their ratings are like some just whack as hell. We watch some and you're like, that dude did not have a good game. How is that as great as
right?
So like that, some of those shit doesn't make any sense at all. All right, guys, we'll do a quick pay the bills back in less than a minute to continue on the show.
Let's be honest, you're here because you love sports. We love sports too. And our friends over at Row One Brand love sports as much as we do. Row One Brand sells sports wall art, sports gift watches, and vintage apparel with ornamental designs created from real game ticket stubs and vintage sports memorabilia in their collection. If you want some vintage Golden State Warriors memorabilia, they have that too. It's a sports collector's dream website for anything sports related. Go over to row1brand.com to check out their great inventory. And when you use the promo code VSP15, you'll get 15% off any item on the whole site. That's code VSP15 for 15% off any item on the site. So click on the link below and go check them out. Row Run Brand, America's best vintage sports art, sports gifts.
There you go. Make sure you check out Row One Brand. So some random stuff, guys. Y'all see that Philly released a hype video for Marcus this week?
I did.
Yeah, they left out a highlight though. So
you got dragged. Speaking of dragging, you got dragged on Twitter this week, Johnny.
They left out a very athletic highlight that he did. When he did like a little helicopter on the ground and threw it. So I just said y'all left one out, and you would have thought, man, like I had a guy tell me I was a failure at life.
Yeah. You get a ring. I saw you got some evil. They came for you this week.
Some of the Philly fans really took offense to it. Like he'd been there like their his entire career. I'm like, guys, like this is obviously a joke, and clearly, like, yeah. So it was hilarious though. Yeah.
You all think Falcons fans are brutal?
Oh, Phillies are unbelievable.
Philly, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
They go for the throat and they keep at it.
Oh, they came for John's throat. They ripped it out, put it back in, and ripped it out again.
I loved it, man. It was like I told Michael.
He was laughing the whole time. He took it like a champ.
It was such an unintentional, like welcome thing. Because if I can piss off Philly fans at the same time of just having some fun, that's great.
It's fun.
That's fine.
Hey, yeah. Oh, so listen, real quick, guys. I just want to chime in here. Can you all tell people at home who are on Twitter how you, because you do a great job at it, John, and he does as well. How do you keep your temper when that happens to you? When just say you made a joke, you made a comment, and everybody come like in a mean-spirited way for your neck. Why do you think it's fun? Like he's laughing now, as I'm saying this, he's laughing now. So how do you keep smiling and you keep it positive? And I want to ask John that, and you have too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What's funny to me is I'm going to be completely honest. Initially, I had an issue with it, but I'm going to go give a shout out to the great Aaron Freeman, Falcon fans.
There you go, Aaron Freeman.
The way he approaches it is just so funny, and I was like, you know what? I've been doing this wrong the whole time. So for me, I'm like, you know how you guys used to watch, cartoons on Saturdays back in the day, right?
Oh yeah.
Bugs
Yeah.
Bunny and Elmer Fudd. The
Of
more
course.
pissed Elmer would get, the Bugs would kiss him. I just be kissing them. The angrier they get, the more I kiss them, and it becomes comedy to me at that particular point, because there is no reason, none, to get that fired up over Twitter. There's just no reason, especially sports. There's no reason for that.
No.
I mean, why are you so angry? You just go have a Coke and a smile or something, man. It'll be okay. And that's where I am with it at this point.
Same, man.
It's sports,
Same.
man.
Yeah. If I was in my 20s, I might be spouting right back off at him. Like, just, I might, but yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, like, I think it's, if they say something crazy, I'll just keep feeding it. Just to get, so I mean, I just don't care. I mean, like, if they're going to stop, or they're just keep getting more angry, and either way, I'm going to win, because it works out for me.
John screenshot you, and he texts me, and I just have good. He doesn't take it that serious. Trust me, he's laughing.
No, I don't know. Yeah, so I've seen some, even one of our listeners, she had just over a positive Desmond Ritter post. Dude came in and said he was going to spit on her daughter.
Damn.
I mean, what the fuck? Seriously?
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And just insane, man.
Why are you making that personal? That's
exactly. Exactly. Now, if somebody came at my family, then we might have a little different discussion. But I mean,
even then, I'm like, homeboy, I'm 6'3", 215. I wish you would.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm not moving, and I'm not scared of you. What's up?
Right. Yeah. And also some news that came out of Arizona. I guess they're not going to make the roughing the passer reviewable, which kind of sucks.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised, but it sucks.
I think the reason for that is they don't want to make the game even longer than it already is, and that's a ridiculous rule in regards to everything. My brother, he's old school and he played football like we all did. And it's like, you might as well call it touch football at this particular point. But I had a feeling they weren't going to even play with that at this particular point.
Yeah, it's too bad. That's the one that I'd rather see that sometimes rather than some of the other ones that they do review. Because that's last year. Obviously,
they end up having an impact a big impact on the game.
Exactly.
Brady Jarrett. Oh my! You know what? I'm not gonna even go there.
Yep.
I mean, Grady, Chris Jones last year. I mean, there's only so many things you can do, man. You can't defy gravity. That's one thing we haven't figured out yet.
I was pissed for Chris on that one. I'm
right.
Like, what?
Yeah, made no damn sense whatsoever, man. Lord Hudson, what's up,
Lord,
buddy?
what up?
He said, new to this podcast. Hey, man, welcome in, buddy.
Nice to have you, buddy.
Come on back. Miss Carissa, what's happening?
Miss Carissa, what's up?
James, what's going on?
James.
Yeah, hey, we appreciate it.
Over here. And you will.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Let's see. JJ the Great. What's happening, brother? Good to see you, man. Glad you catch a live tonight, man. And let's see. JJ said, not sure if y'all already talked about it, but how do y'all feel about Thursday night games able to be flexed now? Yeah. What you say, buddy?
I don't like it.
Me either.
Because when you're dealing with, first of all, you're just piling onto the players. You already add an additional game to the season. Now you're flexing Thursday night football games. You guys are putting the players through entirely too much right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all for the buck.
Oh, 100%.
See what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Very same reasons, man. I totally agree. All right. Mike has a little special thing for you, buddy. How about it?
So, Ev, I had to get you. We got you on the show. Now we got to get you on the show. You know what I'm saying? So we got a game called Glaze Ablaze. You know what I mean? Glaze Ablaze. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just spit off some rapid fire questions to you. You try to answer them with the first thing that come off to your head, okay? Your opinion matters, buddy. It's a weighted opinion. So we care. So we want to know. The people want to know. And that first question, here we go. Glaze Ablaze. Number one. If Ritter works out, would the Twitter doubters admit they were wrong? Ev?
Absolutely not.
Why won't they?
Because they would rather be right than to win, period.
Jesus. Now that's a quotable. You would rather be right than win. It's a lot of y'all. I hate you. Now, okay, Glaze. Here we go. Glaze Ablaze. You have to rock one of these jerseys. You have no choice. You have to pick one of three. It's a former Falcon. Do you wear the Matt Ryan Colts jersey? Do you wear the Calvin Ridley Jaguars 0 jersey or the Julio Jones Tampa Bay jersey? You have to wear one.
Calvin Ridley, the 0 jersey for the Jaguars. I gotta cop it.
Gotta get the Calvin Ridley.
That thing
that's
looks
gonna
fire.
Be nasty.
It really
That
does.
turquoise, that's gonna be nasty.
Look,
Okay.
I'm actually thinking about buying it right now. But go ahead.
See, there you go. I love it. Okay, I got one. Now, I need you are commonly known as the most rational man on Twitter, okay? I need you to take a topic that fans are irrational about on Twitter and just make the Glaze ablaze rational argument to the Twitter fans. Go.
Desmond Ridder. He's trash. He's ass. He's mid. Okay. First and foremost, Ridder's only played 4 games up to this particular point, and he's improved in every single game that he played. First and foremost, that's the first thing. Second thing, he has deserved and earned a chance at winning the spot, and now that he has it, he has a chance and deserves to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? They believe in him for reasons that none of you know. None of you know. And for those of you that say you watch film on him, you can't possibly have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you did, you would see a lot about this man, this grown man with a family, by the way, and his maturity to know that he has natural leadership skills, and that's why they love him so much. You know what else? He may not be as talented as Lamar Jackson. He might not be as talented as some of these other QBs that are coming through the league. But you know what? I guarantee you, I'd bet money that the ones that are being drafted this year and the ones that he was drafted last year will not outwork him. Period.
I agree with that. I think John agreed with that. Yeah.
He's competitive. The team follows him, and he's only 23, 22 years old, and they listen to him. That's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he carries himself the way a man should. That goes a long way in the pro game. You can have all the speed in the world. You can have the biggest arm in the world. But if you don't have the mentality, the maturity, and the leadership qualities, you will not make it.
Talk to him, especially at the quarterback position.
Especially at the quarterback position.
I Glaze
all that
Glaze.
Stuff that you're talking about.
What is the best spot for Aaron Rodgers to land?
The Jets. He'll be better at the Jets. Now, and the reason why I say that is because of how the team is set up as it is right now.
Okay.
Because initially I said that Lamar Jackson would probably be a good, he would be a good option for the Jets. But now that they're kind of gone all the way in with Aaron Rodgers, that's the place for him to go. Because right now they're built to win now.
Mm-hmm.
They've gotten a bunch of new receiving options. They have a good young defense. All they need is a signal caller to lead the way.
Mm-hmm. The Jets.
So Eric can go in, do his job, and they should at least be in the playoffs and be in competing. And considering he's on the twilight of his career, that's the best spot for him right now.
You heard it here first. Jets. Okay. Glaze Blaze. The best spot for Odell Beckham.
Ooh, that's a good one. Honestly, I think he'd be better off going back to the Giants.
Come on. Glaze Blaze. Why? Why you say that?
Because Daniel Jones, while he does have some weapons, Daniel Jones, I can't say he's worth the contract that he's got. And if the Giants want to win with the ball, I think having somebody like Odell Beckham, as sure-handed as he is and such a big play threat that he is, he makes Daniel Jones look good.
That's true. That's true.
So if you want to take the next step with the Giants and moving forward on the offensive side of the ball, to me, he's a good puzzle piece for that system, for the ball, because I think he just goes in and plays. Now, the one place I think he shouldn't go is Dallas. Don't even touch Dallas. But that's a different story.
So he says,
I think
Aaron Rodgers to the Jets and OBJ to the Giants.
Yeah, I think he would be a good fit for the Giants.
I got another one, Glaze Blaze. Name me a 90s rapper that you wish the kids today could hear in their prime. That if the 90s rapper was in his prime, you wish the people of today, the kids today, could hear this rapper in his prime.
I'm always going back and forth on the '90s rappers, but for this purpose, it has to be Tupac Shakur.
No, yeah, you said it right.
It has to be Tupac. It has to be Tupac because Tupac, when he as a lyricist, Tupac, he was a poet.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really paid attention to what he said, you'd be like, wait a minute, what did he just say? Let me rewind that because that was deep. He was way beyond himself in the '90s, and these hip hop artists now can't touch him.
Oh, no.
They can't even remotely touch him.
No. Yeah.
The kids need to hear him, and it's so funny. I think about that. You brought that up. I'm sounding like my pops. These young whippersnappers don't know anything about no damn hip hop. Let me tell you about some hip hop. But for me, it's got to be Tupac.
Tupac. I love it. All right, Glaze Blaze. You have unlimited ingredients. I mean, unlimited ingredients. Make us a bussin' Glaze Blaze sandwich.
Ooh. Let me see. I got some sliced turkey.
All right.
Some provolone cheese.
Okay.
Bacon. Got to have the bacon.
Okay.
A mix of spinach and lettuce on top. Thinly sliced tomatoes.
Ooh.
Mayo and some spicy mustard on top of that. Smack that thing together and bussin'.
What type of bread are we using?
Oh, for me, I like the honey wheat or sourdough.
Oh,
Sourdough's super underrated, by the way.
Glaze Blaze sandwich. Y'all gotta try that sandwich. Okay, Glaze Blaze. I got one. Are the Buffalo Bills good as we think they are? Are they the same as the Bills from the '90s? Are they gonna get to the playoffs a bunch of times and then slide on down that hill? Which one is it?
I got to be honest with you. To me, the Buffalo Bills have hit a wall. They're a playoff team, but they're not a championship caliber team. You say, I just said that. There's to me, they have the pieces. They have the pieces necessary to be a playoff team, but you have to start asking yourself at this particular point, if they have the big play mentality, can they rise to the occasion? Because they have yet to really do that. Now, with Jim Kelly in the Bills of the '90s, that first Super Bowl they lost, they should have won.
Man,
yeah,
that was on my birthday.
The first one they lost, they should have won.
Shit,
and to me, that started the decline for them. I think that one right there it hurt them so much that they really didn't fully recover from it. Because I mean, you can't miss a field goal like that. You just so for me, I felt like for that team to me was better. They just shouldn't have lost that first Super Bowl that they lost. But I don't. As this team is right now, this Buffalo Bills team is not a Super Bowl team.
Damn, now that's a hot take. You said not.
No.
Not even a. You heard it here first, Glaze Blaze. I got two more for you. Michael Jordan in his prime against Kobe Bryant in his prime, 1-on-1. Glaze Blaze. Who's getting the W?
That's a tough one, and I'm going to tell you why. They're like mirror images of each other.
I know, and that's why I'm asking you the question. They got same moves, everything.
Put it to you this way: in a best-of-7 series, it's going 7, but Jordan was crafty enough to pull it out.
Okay, but it's going 7. It's going 4-3.
I think it's going 7.
Oh, it's going 7.
Yeah.
With those two, it's going. And knowing Kobe, God rest his soul, Kobe would have probably wanted 2 more after the fact.
No doubt.
So, now, had you said Jordan and LeBron, that would have been easier. But Jordan and Kobe, that's different.
Jordan and Kobe. All right, the last one. I got one for you. Nick Glaze Blaze, I've noticed something again. You are the most rational person. You seem calm. You seem like you use flawless logic. So I got a good parenting one for you. Your kid can't sing, but your kid has been practicing for this talent show, and you hear him in the other room. It sounds horrific, right? But they are intent. They confident as they can be. They saying, Dad, it's on Thursday. I'm going to show out in front of the school. Now, you don't want them to be embarrassed. You their father, but what do you say? When they got the outfit, they say, Dad, I'm going on Thursday. I done practice. I'm going to kill it. I crush it. I'm swear I'm going to do good. You are their father. Do you encourage this? Do you tell them they trash? How is Glaze a Blaze parenting that situation?
Okay, so there's a follow-up question I have to this. Is it a little girl or a little boy?
Girl.
Very important.
It's a girl. It's a
That's
girl.
very
It's a
important.
girl.
Oh, so that's different. Ooh.
And she, but she thinks she Beyonce.
Ooh. Baby. Ooh, that's tough because you don't want to disappoint them, but you also want them to go up there and get booed off stage.
So this is what you do. You are the most rational, calm person on Twitter. So what type of advice you giving?
Okay. I really encourage you to go up there and give it your all, but understand that this may not be the career that you ultimately end up with.
Now that's good parenting, man.
I like it.
Look, let me tell you what he is like in person form. You know, like the little gas that they stick in your arm when you get caught like doing a crime and they putting you to death. That's what he is. He gonna kill you in a very gradual, subtle way, in the kindest, most sweetest way. He's still gonna murder you. I love it. Great parenting. I love it, buddy. Glaze the Blaze. Give him a hand.
Hilarious.
Thank you.
Gotta love it.
What's
going
going
on?
on? Says, hey, Mike, John, Ev in the chat. Sorry I'm late. Decided to get a facial last minute. Hey, it's okay. Opening at 7 I'm relaxing, but cut into my time with y'all. It's okay. You can go back.
Oh, I'm honored.
It's all good.
Gotta take care of you.
Do your thing.
Lord said, I've done a side-by-side comparison. Ritter and Lamar's last 4 games, and they were very similar in passing and rushing.
Man, don't
be careful,
don't you
man.
get nothing started up in here because you know.
Gary says, speaking facts. Miss B said, y'all got a lot of confidence and optimism. I hope you're right.
Well, it's not even about that. You know, it's about, for me, again, when it comes to Ritter, everybody it's not, I tell a lot of people this, Ritter is a true victim of the type of quarterback that's in play in this current time frame. If Ritter was a college prospect back in the Matt Ryan days, he's a surefire first round pick,
100%.
without question. But because of now, everybody, everybody's just, they love the Anthony Richardsons. I mean, dude is a straight up beast of an athlete, and he has a cannon of an arm. So now Ritter is in that, he's in that area. And I got to be honest with you, last year when I wrote a scouting report on Ritter, I even said it. Ritter is good from the neck up, but he's just not going to wow you with any of his physical traits. He's a good athlete. He has a pro-ready arm. He doesn't have the best arm, and he's not the best athlete. And I think that's why people kind of downplay him so much, because when you put him against people like Malik Willis, now think about this. Malik Willis, he's stacked. He's built, he's fast, and he's a highlight reel. Now, that being stated, his ceiling is much, much higher because of all his physical traits. But his floor could be much, much lower. And for somebody like him, all of it has to come together in the pro game. For Ritter, what's so good about Ritter at this particular point is, you know what you're getting from a work aspect. You know what you're getting from a maturity aspect already. And that's half the battle when you talk about kids being professionals. That's a big thing, especially at the quarterback position. A lot of people don't think about that. Even with Michael Vick was the most elite athlete on the field when he played, but maturity was a factor for him, and it ended up rearing its ugly head. So when you think about these quarterbacks, I just want people to think about the overall picture. Yeah, he has a cannon of an arm. Yeah, he's an athlete. Yeah, he makes splash plays. Richardson, he'll run for a 65, 70-yard touchdown. But the question you have to ask yourself is, what happens when he gets the money in his pocket? What happens when he's a millionaire? What happens when he goes into that locker room and football is all he has? He doesn't have to go to class. He has to do this. He doesn't have a structure per se outside of OTAs. Everything he does, he has to do on his own. Nobody's going to push him. Nobody's going to hold his hand. Is he going to have to drive to be that good player? And that much we know about Ritter. We know Ritter is going to be competitive. We know Ritter has leadership qualities. Ritter's going to be the first person in the building and the last person out. He's going to work on his game relentlessly. And now all he has is his family in football. So you know he's going to put the time in. All of this we actually physically know about Ritter, which is why I'll always say Ritter will be he will be just fine as a pro. That I am completely sure of.
Yeah, man, and we've said on the show, I don't know how many times. I mean, like, and the QB position itself is the hardest one to project to the next level. So when you have a guy that's got the intangibles, that's what you bet on. If he's got the athletic traits, then you bet on the guy that's got the intangibles that not everybody's going to have. So he comes with them already. So it's just a matter of him putting it together on the field. How quickly can he process what he sees in front of him? How quickly can he make the right reads? All that stuff on a more consistent basis when he does that. And also, we talked about it last week, Mike, and we did a show. We did an entire show on quarterbacks because it was you know how it got the talk got this insane, right? And so
Ev would love that show.
We should have him on that one, yeah. But it was, I mean, you look at around the league. So there's 19 first round quarterbacks in the league, so just over half, and all varying degrees of success. Obviously, we know that by looking at them and what they've done. So. It's obviously it's hard to project, but it's also what situation do they end up in. So Brock Purdy, we talked about last week. I mean, like, come on now. I mean, Shanahan's offense, perfect fit, apparently, because he was fantastic. So you can't tell me that every team was dumb enough to miss on this guy. No, he fell into a great situation. So, and like in our offense, I mean, look how we're building this offense. And that's what I planned on talking about tonight, to be honest with you. We were going to talk about how the offense was going to what the offense might look like going into the next season. And we still will. But with these changes that happened after Ritter being named the starter and Calais coming on, obviously it changed the show a little bit. But with those additions that we're adding, it takes a lot less off of Ritt. So like he didn't have to be the guy.
Here's the thing. I have this mentality when it comes to first-round quarterbacks, and especially if you're drafted in the top 10. And from a schematic point of view, if I'm drafting you in the top 10, that means that you can actually work in virtually any scheme that I put you in. You are scheme versatile as a QB. That's why you're a top 10 or a top 5 pick. And if you're not that, you're not supposed to be picked in the top 10. So when I think about people like Ritter, and I think for me, I even mentioned it in my scouting report. I was like, I don't love Ritter. I hate Ritter as a first round pick because he's scheme specific. Let's be real about it.
Oh yeah.
I could have tolerated him as a second round pick, which is what I thought he was going to be, but I absolutely loved him as a third round pick because he can thrive in the scheme and the system that Arthur Smith has. And sometimes it's more about fit than anything. Nobody talks about that. Like I said, when you get a first round QB in the top 10, you expect them to thrive in any scheme that you throw at them. That any QB up that high is scheme versatile. Period. Or supposed to be. It doesn't always work out that way. Doesn't always work out that way, but they're supposed to be scheme versatile. So when I hear and people talk about the first round thing, if you're drafted in the first 5 picks, top 10, you should be scheme versatile. Not only as a player in general, but a QB especially. That means I can drop you in any team, in any situation, and you're going to come out and thrive. That's how sure I am about you that I'm drafting you in the top 5. That's why when I say when people draft these quarterbacks in the top 5, you better be sure. You better love that prospect because you're betting your career on it.
You betting your career on it. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%,
so
man. Yeah.
With Ritter, and that's another thing. People talking about, oh, this is a huge risk putting Ritter as a starter. No, it's not. Why is it all of a sudden a big risk that you're putting a third round pick and as a starter after he's proven to the coaching staff that he can handle the duties? That's not a risk. A risk would have been picking Ritter at the top 10 last year and then throwing him in as a starter because at that particular point, your career is on the line. He has to work at that point. Now, because of his draft status, because when they picked him, if he works out, great. You have your quarterback for the next 3-4 years before you have to pay him. If he doesn't, you can go back to the well because now you have your team.
Glaze, I think he put this on Twitter, and I think he worded it perfectly. He was saying that it's not the end all be all for Ritter. Like it's either him or nothing. he'll get a shot. He just gonna get a shot to do it. He may just gonna get a fair shot to do it. That's all anybody's saying. The man is giving him I think that we would all be lying if somebody say, I know he gonna kill it. Because
Right,
even
right.
man, I'm out of my Falcon mind and I don't know he gonna kill it. And I tell you, like a goat was gonna kill it. If we had a goat in a jersey, I would tell you we was gonna win. So I say anything, but even I'm not sure. So I think that all anyone is saying is the man deserves a whole
chance.
like he said. Now it ain't no he not a rookie, he don't got to go through that. He not in college, he ain't studying. It's just football with a whole off season and some weapons. We just want to see. That's all we saying.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting about it is the negativity surrounding it. It's just weird to me. And if I defend it, all of a sudden I'm a what do they call it, a thespian or whatever whatever the new crap these kids are coming up with. Yeah, I said kids because that's the only kids who will come up with crap like that. Just because here's how I roll. Like I said, I'm really rational. I'm going to give you a shot until you prove to me that you don't deserve it anymore.
Yeah,
that's just how I roll. We don't know what he's going to be at the pro level.
Nope.
Not yet, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So just sit back and support him. How hard is that? You would think
you're a fan, right?
It's your team.
Right. That's one.
But he said earlier that there are fans who would like rather be right. than win.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's the truth. This is a very, very true story I'm about to tell you. There's a guy, of course I won't mention him. He's not a fan of Ritter at all. And I said it was fine because I mean we all have our, what we like and what we don't like in regards to QB prospects, and that's completely fine to have your opinion about that, and it's cool. This is not a joke. His first game, every time Ritter made a mistake. See, I told you he wasn't it.
That's my
then
favorite.
all of a sudden he scrambles on the 4th down play and gets the first down. This is not a joke. All you saw was good play, period. On his tweet.
So you minimize those.
Yeah. Right. So it's like, what is it costing you?
This is the same kind of
shot to give him his props when he does a good job at something. Mm-hmm. Why does it always have to be okay? I said I was right about him when I watched film, and I need to be right. No, you don't. Mm-hmm. You don't. Now another big one. This man has played 4 games on a truncated rookie season, and I know how the rookie season goes. I've seen it. The offseason, you deal with the combine. You deal with timing, getting your 40 time right. Interviewing with multiple teams. Top 30 visits. The draft. When the draft is over, meeting your teammates, meeting your team, getting your playbook. Learning your playbook. Learning your teammates. You go through all of that. And then on top of everything else, and this is the part that's funny to me. People don't understand that during the season practices aren't like training camp. It's completely different. They're game planning in the middle of the week. That's what they do. Ritter was the scout team QB. What that means is he was the QB that they were using for the opponents, so the defense could, prepare for the following game. And after 4 games, this is not a joke. Ritter looks just like he did in Cincinnati. How is he supposed to look? Seriously. Mm-hmm. He's a rookie on a truncated rookie season. What did you expect to see his first year? That was going to be so much better than what you saw in Cincinnati. Somebody make that make sense to me. That one was like, are you really serious right now? Did you really? And you know what's funny? Sometimes you can talk to people and things can come out of your mouth and you go like, oh, wait a minute. That wasn't smart. Let me back that up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. On Twitter, you get to type it. You get to look at it before you send it. So you actually contemplated and looked at that before you sent it, and you thought you were smart in saying it. And I'm thinking, really? That's how you're going to do this? He was not going to look any different than he did in Cincinnati. He hasn't had time to work on his game yet.
It's a rookie.
And that tells you that people aren't giving this kid a chance. That tells you right there.
And if there was a game on the schedule, I would have said I don't want him to start that game. It would have been in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Later on in the season.
I was thinking that's tough. Yes. That's a pretty bad situation to be put in. Mm-hmm. And he handled it with class. I mean, he did.
Yeah, man.
Whether you like him or you hate him, you had to respect the way he handled that game.
Yeah,
regardless of the turnout on it.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I love Drake, but that drop.
yeah,
I mean, you never know. You never know.
Right.
So I mean,
so for me, I'm not on Ritter's side. Like I said, I was indifferent to him when I actually did a scouting report on him. But he deserves his shot. Period. And whether you like him or hate him, and whether you like the situation or hate the situation that he's in right now, that he's actually the starter and he's been named the starter, is irrelevant.
Yeah.
He's only played 4 games. Let the man play the season first before you decide to crucify him. You got to see. Yeah. And what's even worse about it is the man hadn't even thrown a pick yet. He flirted with it that first game.
Oh, sure did.
Which it would have been totally cool if he had, but he hadn't even thrown a pick. Just wait till he throws one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the pitch.
Oh, man.
As soon as he throws that first pick, it is going. Get him out of there. He sucks. He's ass. Put somebody else in there. You might as well get ready for it. It's coming.
Oh, yeah. Well, the mute's going to stay on, so that's not really going to go anywhere. But, I mean, it's just easier. But, I mean, yeah, same thing, man. And, I mean, with and I said yesterday on the reaction video that we did when Arthur was named in the starter. I mean, we're just fans, man. Like, we don't make the decisions. We're either you're fans of the team or you're not. Like, we don't know what goes on behind the closed doors. We don't know the conversations they've had. We don't know what they see in practice or outside of the football field. We don't know any of that stuff. We're just going off what we see as fans. So, as a fan, I'm gonna expect them to do their job, and I'm gonna support what they. Like Kerry just said, Arthur named him QB1, so I think people should support him. Yeah, if you're a fan of the team, you should support him, whether you like the decision or not. There's been decisions made over the season. Dude, look, all 3 of us have been fans since 1990-91. There's been plenty of decisions I know the 3 of us have not liked in the course of that time, right? But we still been fans of the team, and I didn't like Marcus, man, but I wanted him to do good, and I was rooting for him every week. And he did. It didn't work out. So like I get it, man. Like it's and same thing. We just don't have enough to see it. If he works out, great. Like you said, Ev, it's a 3rd round quarterback. He's our guy. If we don't, okay, we may have a good backup, which is still a great value for a 3rd round quarterback.
Yeah.
So
I mean, his absolute floor is a good backup. His absolute floor is a good backup. Period.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you still have to be a fan. If y'all don't think I was furious when they let Matty Ice go, I wanted to burn the stadium down. I was going to get an oil can and walk around Mercedes-Benz. You calm yourself down. I love my Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to rock with them regardless. Yeah. So here goes Perry that she hopes. She says I hope when I come on, Mike asks me about my sandwich order or just food questions in general. There's one thing about me I like to eat.
My kind of girl right there. Absolutely.
Lord said make sure
y'all screenshot some of these anti-Ritter tweets for when he starts turning them into believers. Yeah.
But you know what's interesting about that is for Ritter, I'm just giving the kid a shot.
He said Ev is on fire tonight. That's what my man Jordan said.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, homie. But it just did. It's like, I mean, give the man a shot. That's I mean, how hard is that for you? I mean, it can't be that, because I remember back in the day, I had to talk myself into some decisions. I remember when Dimitrov in the 3rd round drafted Desmond Southward.
Yes.
I didn't know who that was.
Damn it. Yes.
I'm like, wait a minute, who? I had to look this dude up because I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so he's fast. I mean, it might work. I was talking myself into everything, son. So it's like, it may work. So, I mean, when I think about all this stuff now, like the Lamar thing, they called one guy, not a joke, he called Terry Fontenot a clown because he didn't go after Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I've seen
that. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. It's like, bruh, for real. Again, I have to keep repeating this. Lamar Jackson isn't available. And then what's messed up about this to me is, now the media's talking about something they should put in the office. So basically, if I'm Fontenot, I'm going to be the angry black man for Fontenot. I'm going to say it right now. So let me tell you. So basically, what you're telling me, you want me to make the attempt so you can feel better about where I'm going with my plan? Hell no. I am not about to put myself through an offer sheet just for Baltimore to match it and put myself on hold just to make you feel better about where my direction is with this team is going. You don't pay my freaking salary. Get out of my face with that. I'm not making an attempt. Are you joking right now? Who wants to make an attempt? No one in Baltimore is sitting in the background saying, if that can work, I'm going to go ahead and match that bad boy and call it a day. No. It's just that
and if you follow that logic, try to get Beyonce from Jay-Z. Just just try it.
I'm just
try to
saying.
make an attempt.
Hey, it might work. It might not.
It may work.
If you don't give it a shot, I don't think you're serious, bro.
There you go.
You don't want it if you don't give it a shot.
So here's what Curry said. She said, "I'm supporting my QB number 1, but never call me that." She said, "Don't call her Jasmine."
Yo, they made that up on Twitter. I don't even know where that came from.
I think I saw Ritter Rider as well. That's another one I've seen.
Ritter Rider. Wow.
Okay, then I'm starting to question these people and what they do for a living if they're coming up with names like this.
Yeah, man.
You go from Desmond to a Ritter Rider, seriously? So
exactly right.
it's
Dempsey, the Mansky with the Plansky.
Oh, what's up?
How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Adam? What's good, Yomi? But yeah, I just that whole thing. I don't. Yeah, Desbian and all that other kinds. Just because I'm giving the man a chance, I'm riding his coattails. Man, get out of here with that.
Yeah, man. Last I checked, man, we're friends of the Falcons, so we would like our quarterback to do well.
I'm just saying. I want the young brother to work out. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's what I'm saying. Why would you not? You get a cheap ass quarterback for like 3 or 4 years. I mean, like, why would you not want that to work?
Look, what they expect me to do? Go to the stadium with a Falcon shirt with an X on it, with the bag over my head because Desmond is the starter? For what?
Give me a break, man. Ridiculous.
Tripping.
So, man, all right. So free agency, obviously, man, we've all it's been going nuts, man. So Football Outsiders gave us a solid D+. And
I thought that was funny, by the way.
Did you say a B or a D?
A D.
A D plus.
As in dog, yeah.
Oh, that's outrageous.
And then if y'all saw the tweet by Seth Walters from ESPN, Mike, did you see this, buddy?
No.
Okay, this is good then. The Falcons have had a pretty rough offseason so far, in my opinion.
Oh, I saw that one.
Overpaid Lindstrom, brought back McGarry despite past pro struggles, overpaid Onyemata, paid sticker price for Bates when safety market was cheap, rolling with Ritter, Heineke instead of thus far trying to land Lamar. That sounds like someone who has no idea what we're doing in Atlanta.
But I mean,
no idea.
I just laugh at that kind of stuff because, I mean, they are really hurt that we didn't go after Lamar.
Really bad.
Again, I'll say it one more time. Yeah. So basically what you're telling me is I need to make the attempt to make you guys feel better about my offseason. No, I refuse. You can say what you want to say. I'm not going to put myself through all that crap just to make you guys feel better, give me a positive review. Go to hell. Yep. So forget all that.
And I don't know how they say that man ain't cooking. I don't know. How are you not?
Well, so I'm saying they don't understand. Nobody takes the time. They just they look at it. Dude, and CBS Sports said Matt Collins was our best free agent signing.
That's CBS Sports, though.
They're dumb as hell. Yeah, especially when it comes to Atlanta football, like dumb as hell. But like, I was like, come on, man. Like, but yeah, I mean, if you're going to be a national media member, then you just don't say anything. Then if you're going to come on and talk about
man,
the Falcons,
here's the shit that really make me mad because I feel like those people could call Dave or they could call Ev and really get some fucking information that would make sense so you understand. 100%. You talking out your ass and it don't even make logical sense. Like how you give us a D? I mean, dog, even if you hate the Falcons, a D is ridiculous, man. Because you could have called Dev, bro. You could have called Savion. You could have called Ev. You could have called so many qualified people and really got an answer to your motherfucking questions. So fuck you, whoever wrote that.
I take what's interesting about
it, man. I don't appreciate that shit.
I feel you. But it's one of those things where you can always tell. It's almost like when people talk about you and they don't know what's going on inside your own house.
Yeah.
And that's how I take it.
Yeah.
And I mean, if they really want to know, they could find out.
Yeah,
but
they decide, right?
You know, and it's going to keep coming because, like I said it in the tweet earlier today. They are really butthurt about us not going after Lamar Jackson.
The media, yeah.
I mean, they are really. I'm like, they're more hurt than some of the fans are. I'm like, bruh, y'all bugging over this.
Yeah, and shout out to Adam if you're still here, buddy. I mean, I was listening to the New Millennium Falcons podcast. By the way, shout out to those guys. They're back. Savion, Fleet, Trayshawn, Hunter, all those guys. Great podcast. But Adam was saying on that podcast, and it's true, like about the safety market, there was no other safety that was around him.
There wasn't.
Nope.
There's no
one on his level.
Doesn't even make sense. Like that just doesn't even make sense. So yeah,
if you looked at the market overall, I mean, the payment that they, the contracts actually were hovering around what the market value was expected to be for the players that they got.
It was.
I mean, they may have overshot it by a mil or two, but it was still around the general vicinity.
Mhm.
So yeah, a lot of people are just exacerbating the situation and just being a little dramatic over it, and it's not necessary.
And of course, you don't understand the plan when he got all the ingredients for spaghetti, and you try and make cereal. Of course, you think it don't make no fucking sense. But he cooking spaghetti. You got to know what we making to understand the ingredients. Okay, be
Right.
patient. Be
And
patient.
McGarry,
Coming together.
and McGarry on 11 million. Come on, man.
Yo, you
Let me
can't
tell you
do that.
something.
How is that stupid?
Let me tell you something. When I saw that, I was like, you know what? They need to go ahead and put a bust for him in Flowery Branch and in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, because I actually thought going out that McGarry's market was going to be between 16 and 18 mil a
That's
year.
what we all thought.
I just thought, I mean, because I just said to myself, oh, if I know ain't paying that. I already knew it. I was like, okay, what are we going to do at right tackle? Because McGarry's as good as going at this particular point. I just knew it because, first of all, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. They didn't tag him. So they already knew, yeah, we're not paying you that. Because the fact that they didn't tag him, I already knew, oh, yeah, he's gone. I just knew it. But a few days later, that 11.5, I think it was, APY.
Yep, 11.5.
I was like, what? No, he didn't just pull that up. So after that alone, I was like, yeah, Font knows the dude. That we got to keep rolling with him because he was cooking on that one alone.
Oh, big time.
A D is outrageous.
Yeah.
JJ said I was a fan that wanted Lamar, but I'm so cool with Dez. I always root for a Falcon to succeed and be given chances to let's ride. Yeah, I'm really.
Yeah. I mean,
that's totally fine.
The dumbest tweet I've seen in a while.
And
I know that stuff.
And that's the way you got to look at it. I mean, and I think the biggest thing with Desmond Ridder that is really bothering a lot of people is that the unknown when it comes to him. I mean, even Matt Miller, he said that, the Falcons don't have a quarterback. And to me, that's just flat out disrespectful. I mean, you could say that you don't think they have a good quarterback, but they got a quarterback. You can at least acknowledge the fact that Ridder's going to be the starter. But I mean, it's just the unknown in regards to, and that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine to say we don't know what Ridder is because we don't. It's a fact. But I mean, you ain't got to drag the brother down because it's pointless.
So, yeah, Lord, we saw.
Man, I love Shannon Sharp, but he was wrong. So,
man, let me tell you something about Shannon.
I love Shannon Sharp. That was way off.
Quick story about Shannon Sharp. I had a cousin. He was. We really believed. Even my uncle Charles, that played in the league, we actually believed my cousin Tony was the best athlete in the family, and that was saying something. His freshman year, he went up against Shannon Sharp. And he said he hit Shannon with everything he had, and Shannon was still standing. Shannon is a brick wall.
Yeah.
So, but with all of that stuff, I think a lot of stuff Shannon says, and I don't take it personally. I just think a lot of stuff Shannon says is pretty much for for shock value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's good at that.
No, he's great.
I mean, and the funny thing is, if you talk to Shannon outside of all of that, he's a really, really, really cool dude. So, I mean, I didn't take offense to it because I know how he rolls when it comes to that kind of thing.
Dog, I'm with JJ. He said I can't. I just wish that they can, man. And I'm not even saying, man, we got several people that those people should be calling just to ask little questions to, like man, Ev, Dave, Savion, Trey. Like, I just wish that they were informed because every time you hear them speak about us, it's always from a place of just total and complete ignorance. Like they don't even know what's going on, and it's frustrating.
But you know what's interesting about that, and I hate to even admit this, but the Falcons right now are at a point where nobody really gives them any credit as a franchise because let's be real, it's been a while since they've been relevant. And I got to be honest with you, I've always believed, honestly, that when a manager or a general manager and a head coach come in, then they were hired for a plan, they should implement it. You either live or die by that plan, or you adjust according to, as the years pass. What soured me to Dan Quinn was that game against Dallas. The most basic, fundamental stuff they couldn't do and lost that game. At that point, I was ready for him to go. Because that's some stuff you should never lose a ball game over. And I'm sitting there thinking, what? I mean, this is football 101. You learn this stuff in the Pee Wee leagues. How do you let that happen?
Dude, I turned off the TV and walked out.
You
don't jump. You don't know not the touch of onside. What the?
Yeah.
But you know what's funny about it? I was more pissed at that than the Super Bowl. That's how
Because it was
pissed off I was about that. And at that point, I was ready for him to go. I was like, bye.
Oh yeah.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. That's where I was with that at that particular point. But I mean, like with Fontenot, I mean, you gotta let them implement their plan. Let Ritter do his thing. Yep. Let's see where we go. Because right now, I think he's cooking. You know what I'm saying?
I smell it cooking. It smell good. I don't see what he's making, but it smell good.
It's fried chicken, collard greens. Let me stop.
It smell real good. I love it.
Let me get a plate.
So, man, we're gonna hit two quick things: free agency and the draft. Your favorite free agent signing so far?
I'm dying to hear this one. Yeah.
Ooh, I cried a little bit with Jesse Bates.
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
but I gotta say, Calais Campbell. I did not see that one coming. Now the Jesse Bates one, I had rumblings, and the people that I talked to in Atlanta, everybody figured that was coming. So that wasn't a surprise to me. Calais Campbell one was a surprise. Now the reason why that's the favorite signing of mine is because it shows me that Terry Fontenot isn't satisfied with what he has up front. And he just keeps pushing it and keeps pushing it and keeps pushing it. And the fact that they taught Calais Campbell to come to the Falcons out of all of the suitors that he had, that's a big thing to me. That's huge. So it's him, then Jesse Bates. But like I said, I love the Jesse Bates signing, but at the same time, we kind of saw that one coming. That one was because my boy Adam, he had been talking about Jesse Bates before I was.
Oh yeah, months ago.
So, he was talking about it months and months ago, and it's like, were they listening to Adam when he was talking about him? Because I mean, he talked it up so much, and we all started to talk it up to a point where then I started hearing rumblings about it. I said, "Oh yeah, that's going to happen." But the Calais Campbell one, that one hit me right here, man.
Man, I mean, what the leadership, the experience, everything he's going to bring with that, and still being productive at his age, man. Like it's going to be. I mean, you just look. I mean, our 2022 line was Grady,
that's
TQ.
Just it. Yeah, and he could, because of the depth now you have in the defensive line, you could put him on a pitch count, so he can still be effective.
Yep,
that's the beauty of it. So that's why I thought that's by far my favorite one so far.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. I mean, that's what I'm saying. And then these that's what makes these grades so hilarious. I mean, like you look at our D line last year: Grady, TQ, Zoe, AK-47, Dalton, Horn, Anderson, Malone. Look at it now: Grady, Onyemata, Campbell, AK-47, Malone, TQ, Zoe. Like those guys, we just added Italian Joe from San Diego. So I mean, like the guys last year that were playing important minutes. Like way too many important minutes. Those guys are pushed back now. They may not even make the squad now. So it's going to be like that's and the upgrades are just hilarious. And then what the Dansky just said, I just said add Tyree Wilson and watch pockets collapse.
But you know what, Adam, keep that. I'm just saying, man, keep that energy because whatever. And I don't know what it is about Adam, but when he starts bringing this stuff up, they have the tendency to materialize in some way.
I'm telling you,
keep pushing it, dog. Just keep pushing it.
Yeah, man. And, yeah. And so when I think Brian's email asked us what he thought or what we thought what they were going to do at 8, right? So looking at Terry Fontenot had an interview with Tory McElhinney this week, and he said a few things that were, they're never going to tell you everything. They're going to just give you little bits and pieces and not really say much, but basically. Just said in the draft, he wants to be disciplined, right? He doesn't want to he doesn't want to reach for a need. So, and he said, with the free agency ads, it kind of makes you feel more secure, like you don't have to go reach for that need or that you have.
Right.
And one thing, and we've talked about this Ev on the show, now with Jalen Carter possibly falling, and whether he's there or not, is that are the Falcons going to pass on him or would they pass on him? And he didn't say, she didn't ask him about that. He didn't say anything about that, but he did say we're all flawed human beings. And he said, we have to look at, are they really passionate about football? Are they really trying to improve? So that makes you think like, okay, I mean, like if if he is there, like that mistake he made may not be the end all be all with it.
Well, see, here's the thing that a lot of people have to understand about Jalen Carter, and I've been in a similar situation before. When he showed up at his pro day overweight and seemingly a little out of shape, there are some things that waiting for sentencing can do to you, and not that on top of losing friends, that can weigh heavily on you. You don't
Dude.
know if you're going to be in jail. You don't know if they're going to put you on probation. You don't know anything at that particular point. So honestly, how can you be motivated to do anything? Now, that being stated, being a professional and showing up at a place that you know you had to perform, it's going to look bad. However, which is why I said that teams are going to have to do the homework with him and talk to him about his mindset going in and be clear about where he is. So I think there are a lot of when a lot of teams talk to him after the fact, they're going to find out that that was really what was weighing him down, and he's trying to get things better. So when you talk about Jalen Carter, if he's there, and I strongly doubt it, he's going to look at it long and hard. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if he gets past Seattle, that's different. Because let's be real, Schneider and Carroll, they don't make any bones about. They don't have any filter when it comes to that. If you're a talented individual, we'll get you straight. Come on in. So I don't see him getting past Seattle. I just don't see it happening. Yeah. And I've heard rumblings already that he's not going to make it past the top 10 anyway. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, 100%. We said the same thing on the show before, man. That was probably the worst 2 months of his life. So I'm not going to take what he did, the pro day, all that seriously, because bottom line, you can't ignore the tape that he put out there. It's filmed so yeah, it's going to be up to the team to interview him and see what they think. And if that's what they feel comfortable with him, then they're going to take him. So Lord said, I said day one of Arthur and TF that I was giving him 3 years before I started judging him, and so far made me believe more before that. I mean, the first 2 years, I mean, like, and Terry even alluded to that today. He said, or when he's not today, but when he spoke with Torrey, he said, Arthur understood coming into it that this is kind of what the challenges were. You had to put together a competitive team on a budget, on a very, very, very tight budget. So they had to get the right guys in for that. So doing what he did, and we said it before, that's pretty impressive what he could do for those 2 years.
You know what's funny about that, and I don't joke about this all the time. I have people DMing me about asking me, what do you think, what I think the Falcons are going to do next, and I said, I want this, and like, I want DeAndre Hopkins, and then I'll be happy. And I'm like, wait a minute, y'all some greedy ass. Listen, the past 2 years, the Falcons had no money. None.
Zero.
Now, all of a sudden, they got all the money. Y'all just want them to spend every last bit of it. Y'all just ungrateful. He's just brought in Calais Campbell. He brought in Jesse Bates. Y'all just want to be ungrateful, just ask for everything. Yeah, can't get everything. Just be happy. Stop being greedy. Damn.
Tish said, hey, y'all, Thomas Dimitroff was really tripping with his contracts and many of his draft picks. He was really crazy. We were in cap space hell. I'm happy with the money moves now with Terry.
But here's the interesting thing about Dimitroff. Dimitroff was the GM for so long for a reason. The reason why he was GM for so long is for two specific reasons: the drafting of Matt Ryan and the drafting of Julio Jones.
Yeah,
those were the two reasons why he stayed GM as long as he did. Matt Ryan bought him loads of time.
Yeah.
So when he sold the farm to get Julio, did as well. But see, Dimitroff's main flaw was the fact that he couldn't draft along the trenches. He was horrible at it.
Terrible.
I mean, he was really bad at it.
And
then on top of it, he going to FA making more crazy moves. He signed Tyson Jackson and Paul Saliai to these huge deals. We want to get tougher and bigger up front. Okay. Interesting. And it just and Dimitrov is so funny. What was there was a special that he was on with Rich Eisen. He was like some guy. He could shoot you. That's crazy.
Yeah, he just said he could shoot me and I'd hide the bullet case and draft that man. Draft Jalen Carter.
That's some serious that's some serious love right there. You shoot me, I don't want to be anywhere near you, man. I don't want you on my team. I don't care who you are.
All right, man. So what do you think we're doing today? Well, we'll get to me in a second. Well, what do you think?
Okay. Well, see, here's the thing. At this particular point, based on what I'm hearing, that first overall pick is looking to be a defensive pick. Um, who it is will greatly depend on how the draft falls, because it's honestly how Fontenot works based on his board and BPA.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure he
Hey,
has his eye
man, we
on.
need some inside information that nobody got, man. You gotta tell us who we drafted at 8.
So I do know they have their eye on players like Tyree Wilson is one.
Okay.
Jalen Carter, they are absolutely keeping their eye on him. I'm going to say something, and nobody throw anything at me. But Bijan Robinson, they're looking at. Just throwing it out there. Don't chill. Just chill. Christian Gonzalez is one, and I don't know the guy's name skips me. The corner out of
Witherspoon.
Yeah, and he's on that short list. And another one that's a surprise that I heard not too long ago was Nolan Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a possibility as well. So keep your eye on that, because word is that Nielsen loves Smith. And so ultimately everything kind of points to them going defensive on that 8th overall pick this year, as opposed to what they've done in years before.
So who do you personally want as just you as an individual?
Me personally,
who would you take?
I'm gonna tell you something right now. If they take Christian Gonzalez, I'm gonna go live on Twitter and sing a little something.
Yeah. I think all of us want. Okay.
Because because of his length, his physicality, and his speed and his athleticism, him as a CB2,
man,
across from AJ Terrell, do you know how sick that is?
Dude.
That's and based on how he's maneuvered through free agency, to me that would just be like a nice little cap at the top of things.
Mm-hmm.
So then that defense, especially the secondary, is looking really, really lethal for quite some time.
With Bates and Gonzalez, Kerry said, "Gonzalez, me please. He can be the first Falcon to wear number 0."
And I personally believe, and I think Adam agrees with me, bringing in Bates is going to make Richie Grant so much
better.
He gonna get to play up.
Yeah, he's going to be able to play in the blocks. He can play the robber role. He can play better in the split safety looks too.
Yeah.
So having somebody like that as a true center fielder allows Richie to do so much. And honestly, for me, when we think about the safety group as a whole, that whole safety group looks better with Bates in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, big time.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
So I just think Richie Grant's game is going to go all the way up with Bates back there. He's going to be able to do what he does best, and that's just going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've watched a ton on Gonzalez, man. I love just so damn smooth. So just yeah, he could easily be a CB1 in a year or two. Like, he could be that guy type of player easily. What's going to really determine how to approach the 8th pick is how picks 5 through 7 go. Right.
We pretty much know how picks 1 through 4 are going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But because Seattle is a wild card, if anybody can. The reason why they're wild card is because Pete Carroll, they love their athletes. Schneider, they love their athletes. Yep. So when you think about players like Jalen Carter, if Jalen Carter is there 100%, I believe they're getting him. I don't see them passing on Jalen Carter by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. I think the stuff that happened with Jalen, as bad as it was, the fact that it happened this far in advance, they've got plenty of time to
talk to him.
Yeah, exactly.
And get where his head is at this particular point.
Yeah.
Because this guy's about to be a millionaire, and they have to know.
Yeah. John, is Gonzalez better than Sauce? Because you were a fan of both of those. And I'm talking about just in the college game. Was he equal to Sauce? Is he lesser? Is he better?
Kind of, yeah. In the college game, the thing is, they're not thrown at very much in the college game. They're really not. Sauce was barely thrown at. Gonzalez was barely thrown at. But there's some. I think Sauce is probably a little better at more of a ball hawk type of a corner.
Okay.
But yeah, no, Gonzalez, yeah, they're similar. As far as they're
I gave Sauce the edge from a college prospect perspective for the fact that he was to me he just had better ball skills overall.
That's okay.
But Christian, they're both really good. Mm-hmm. They're both really good coming out. So I'm not picky. Bring them.
Travis said the Desmond's better hope the superhero.
See, here we go.
Because if not, the smoke is coming. Hey, y'all are so split up. Hey, it's like Pac and Biggie. Like, man, y'all are crazy.
So, Travis, I mean, I got to ask, man. You're rooting for the team, though, right?
You're rooting for us to win.
That's what I'm getting at. I mean, hopefully you are. Right?
This is what I'm talking about. With some people, just rather be right than have the team win. Now, I'm not saying that's the case for him, but based on what we just saw with this comment, it kind of felt that way. Am I wrong?
Yeah. I mean, I hope. Yeah, I'm not saying. I mean,
I'll be there singing. I will be dancing along to it, man. Gonzo pair with AJ Terrell. JJ said, "Nah, this the lineup. AJ, Bates, and Gonzalez will be a nasty secondary."
And you pair that with how and where this front seven is starting to materialize and where they're going. You start looking at the defense that's pretty star-studded, and that can do some things. And it's an exciting thing because I can't remember the last time we've had a defense that could possibly be a top tier since like what, 98? In the Chuck Smith days,
long time ago.
Yeah. So it's been a long, long time. And people like bring up, the 2016, 17. No, that's not close to me. That's based on what we're seeing right now. I mean, of course, this game was a little bit different, but I mean, the guy that Fontenot is bringing in, he was serious as a heart attack, talking about improving in the pass rush in the trenches, and you would see it.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what Grady said at the end of the season. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, and look what we're doing for him. I mean, Grady's probably like doing a freaking dance every day.
Grady did the Braxton cry. You remember Braxton from the Jamie Foxx? He did the Braxton cry when he cried, and he cried by himself, looking at the wall after he saw that. It's like, when are they gonna help me?
Travis said, "Bring Will Anderson home, man." I would love that, but there's no way that's going to happen. I don't think.
Yeah, Will ain't dropping past Arizona unless they decide to deal that pick.
Yeah.
And I mean, they could be shopping it. We don't know.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
if they stay in pat, Will Anderson is going to Arizona.
Yeah, nothing would shock me, man, from what the Falcons seemingly shot or surprise me damn near every year. So I mean, nothing. I don't know what to expect. And if it's like with Victor staying here, how about Bijan and Clark Phillips in the second? How we cooking? So we'll talk about the Bijan thing. So look, we've talked about it. We've talked about it before, man. I would not like it because Bijan is a next level type of running back talent. If you want, I mean, it's just he's magic on the field, man. It really is. So would I do it at 8? Probably not. Would I be pissed off if they get him at 8? I still won't be because you're getting a ridiculous talent, and you throw him into what we have on this offense with Tyler, Drake, Mack, Pitts, Jonnu, Scotty Miller now. I mean, my God, dude, like the things you can do, and we'll probably add another receiver as well. So, no, I'm not going to be upset about it. Now, do I think we can get a running back like a Roshan Johnson or Jahmyr Gibbs later on, possibly? Yep. That's possible too. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to be mad about it if they happen to pull the trigger there, just because that dude is another freaking hero.
Yeah, but you see, here's the thing. I keep saying this. I love Bijan Robinson. I mean, I have not made that a secret. I mean, I would be dancing in the street if Bijan was the 8th overall pick, but I wouldn't be upset if he wasn't. And what I need Falcons fans to understand at this particular point is that with a GM like Fontenot, he's serious about his philosophy. He's serious about going as the best player available according to his board. What that means is it could be anybody. I mean, it could literally be anybody. And I know people talk about about the running back position. It's just not a premium position. So why would you spend a top 10 pick on a position that's not a premium position? But people that think that are not looking at the talent that's a Bijan Robinson. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. You can put him at the Y. You can put him at the X. You can put him at the Z. You can put this man all over the field, and he's going to be effective. That's an offensive weapon. It's the same thing I said about Kyle Pitts. Because I think because they got Jonnu Smith, you're going to see Kyle Pitts, sometimes going out, in the X or the Z every now and again to go up against corners. Because, when you got Jonnu Smith, I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete himself, and Arthur Smith knows how to use him. So you're going to see, Pitts split out wide quite often. So for me, with Bijan, I would just be, I'm an offensive guy, so I'd be cheesing for 3 days straight with Bijan Robinson Pitt, because it's like I mean, think about it. Bijan, Pitts,
Oh my
Drake,
God, man.
Jonnu Smith. What? And he has home run potential as well.
Oh yeah.
All Ritter has to do at that particular point is just be a point guard. Hey, you go out that way, and I'm just going to pitch it to you and just do your thing.
Look, and they all run hard. They all run downhill. They all hit you in the mouth, man. And if you run the ball like Arthur wants to run the ball in the fourth quarter, you've got a fresh Tyler, a fresh
Thank you.
a fresh CP. I mean, come on,
The
man.
defense is gonna be
Oh my God, man, you get smashed. So yeah, I mean, there's no way as a fan you can't be upset by it because you're getting a premier talent. And that's like I told Mike a few weeks ago, I have like. Because Mike's not huge in the college game yet. He just started watching this last year, though.
Yeah.
But he's the best running back prospect I've seen in I don't even know how long, dude. I mean, like he's just a different
Since Saquon Barkley to me.
Yeah.
It's been that long. And I mean, his talent is undeniable. His patience, his contact balance. I mean, there's just so much about this kid. And he's explosive too. He can get skinny through tight windows the vision, the patience. This dude is like he's truly legit. He's an offensive weapon, period.
Yeah.
And Arthur Smith would have to be drooling unless Fontenot steps in. Wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I would be ecstatic about it. But like I said, at this particular point, I'm just going to be honest. I don't think there's not a pick that they could make at 8 that would piss me off.
That's where I'm at.
I don't think there's a pick there they can make that would piss me off at all at this particular point, because they're in such an advantageous position from a roster perspective that once they get to the 8th pick, they can pretty much just hit the board and say, "Oh, okay, this is our best player. Let's go ahead and grab him." So that's where I am with that.
And we going to the Super Bowl. Like that's what the part of that he didn't say, but he wanted to say. Then we going to the Super Bowl. We going undefeated. We going steamroll through the playoffs, win the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan come out of retirement in the last game, 2-minute drill, win the Super Bowl. Out of your Falcon mind.
There it is.
Man,
Super Contra,
that's a script for your ass right there.
Yeah. Hey, Super Contra had a great comment here. Can't wait till halfway through the season when all the non-believers convert to Desbianity. There we go. We have a new one.
It's you know what I got to be honest. To see all of this stuff, especially leading up to the season, it's going to be pretty hilarious. It's going to be pretty damn funny. I mean, you got Desbianity, you got Desmond, you got Ritter Riders. It's just going to be funny. It really is.
He said, "I'm going through 5 stages of grief with drafting Bijan, and the draft is a month away." Jeez.
But you know what's funny? I'll never forget this. The draft day last year, I had somebody tell me, it's like, don't be surprised to see them grab Drake London. Somebody told me that before the draft even hit. And I was like, somebody DM'd me. I was like, I could see that. So I put a tweet out. I said, people are probably going to be pretty pissed when they found out what the Falcons ended up doing at 8.
Yeah.
And it was so funny when it happened. I mean, they went bananas. Drake London, what? And I was like, yep, told you. Because when I heard that, I was shocked. But then again, I was like, okay, that does kind of make sense, because word was that if Tibbs made it down to 8, he was going to be the pick. But they really thought that he wasn't getting that far.
Yeah.
So Drake London was that guy at 8, and they knew he was going to be there. He was going to be the first receiver off the board. When I heard that, I was like, people are not going to like this one. I really didn't have much of a problem with it, but I just knew some people were going to have a problem with it. What was funny about it was when they made that pick, wide receivers started coming off the board fast, and they really, really did. So had they waited to round 2, they would have been, pretty much getting a second tier type guy. And to me, it ended up playing better to them to do it the way they did.
Yeah.
And they got to use that, him.
Can you imagine how that season would have ended if Fitz is hurt and we'd have basically no.
Okay. The question is, what's your thought on Lucas Van Ness? This dude is incredibly strong and powerful. When I look at this tape, and the way he overpowers tackles is ridiculous. And he has a fire about him, and that goes with his length and his strength, that makes you say, okay, this guy is going to be pretty productive at the next level. And I guarantee you that the people that interview him are talking to him, and based on how he is and the drive and his competitiveness, yeah, there's a reason why.
Yep.
He's been talked about in the top 10. because I think he's going to be a stud at the next level. I mean, there's a lot he has to work on, especially from his pass move and his hands, because he doesn't really have a menu of pass rush moves.
No, he's just straight.
But
He just
but with his strength and his strength and length, I mean, that's a lot to work with, and that'll get him some places just in his rookie year until he develops the rest of that part of his game. So I like the kid.
Yeah.
People are going to love him enough to think about him in the top 10. Now, will he be drafted top 10? I don't know. I don't think so.
I got a question, Abe. I got a good one for you. In all the years that you've been watching the Falcons, give me one Atlanta Falcon that you believe is criminally underrated, that you just watch and you say, man, this dude is amazing, and we give him his props, but we don't give him enough props, or we don't give him his props at all.
But you know what? And this may seem the most common answer, but Matt Ryan.
Man, yes.
And the reason why I bring Matt Ryan up is a lot of people really don't appreciate the effect that he had on his franchise when he came in.
I call emotional.
And here's the thing. When he came in, you guys got to remember what went down. You guys remember. You remember what went down prior to it all.
Oh, yeah.
The whole thing with Vic, that coach that I will not speak his name.
Not allowed to. Not allowed to.
You know what? I have never hated coaches that coached for the Falcons before, but that one, he can kick rocks.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, it's on site if I ever see him in public.
John is with you.
But after all of that, I mean, the franchise was in disarray.
Mm-hmm.
And for Matt Ryan to have the maturity and the poise to come in the way he did and seize that role and run with it can't be overstated. People don't give people don't give the man his props for that alone. And I never understood for the life of me why people chose to put him in Michael Vick's shadow. That was the dumbest thing in the world to me, because one, there are two totally different quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Two totally different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And Matt Ryan was exactly what the Falcons needed at that time. The man was rarely hurt. He gave his all on that team every single day. And he got shit for it for the most of his career. And he took it with stride.
Mm-hmm.
He's criminally underrated. And I say that amongst Falcons fans.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you. Amongst Falcon fans.
So I mean, to me, he's the one that's the most criminally underrated out of all of them. Everybody knew who Julio was. Everybody, I mean, that dude was a stud for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
But you also knew that because of who he was and the physical nature to which he played, there was only a window to which he was going to be great before Father Time caught up with him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just the law of nature. He can't be that great for very long. But with Matt, he did what he did for a very, very long time.
He carried the franchise for a very long time.
And I just think, I mean, people dumped on him, and it was justified.
Yeah.
It wasn't even remotely
if he had a name like a Desbian, I would wear it on my shirt. Y'all could kiss I would wear it like a jersey. A Ryan Knight. You call me whatever you want.
Yeah, but yeah, to me, it's him.
Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan. That's a great answer, buddy.
Yeah,
love it, Travis. That's all I'm about, buddy.
Travis, what up?
I mean, you know what? That's the thing. At the end of the day, I mean,
that's it.
I mean, and he's only played 4 games, so we don't know what he is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I just know.
Man, I choose more. I mean, like you said, we've seen what we've seen, man, and there's only so much you can take from that. So I just choose to be optimistic about it, because you can there's guys that spend a whole lot of energy being negative about it. And I just can't even do it, man.
Let me tell you something. When I saw Desmond Ridder get chewed out by Arthur Smith on the sideline and take it with,
we saw that.
I mean, and take it all in his chest and keep it moving, that told me a lot about him, and it told me a lot about his character. Because Arthur Smith went off. I think he was spitting all in his face when he was cussing his ass out. And it was like, he's like, yes, sir.
We were at a game 5 rows back, man, right behind him. And he was in his freaking face. And look, man, Des was looking him in the eye the whole time, shaking his head. Yep, I got you.
And to me, and let me tell you something. That's huge. That's a really, really, really big thing. That means he's extremely coachable, and he doesn't think he's above anything else.
Yeah.
And that's the big. And
the players said the same thing.
Well,
and see, and I think, and then here's the thing about it. When everybody talk about Anthony Richardson or all these new quarterbacks that are coming into the fray, Lamar Jackson, it's easy to get enamored with physical traits. It's easy to get enamored with speed and athleticism and a big arm. But here's the thing. As a pro, it all has to marry to be a good pro. It has to marry. And I hate to bring this up, but we're going to talk about it. Big Beasley.
Oh, hey, that's a key word on our show. It's a buzzword. He's going to get up. John hates Big Beasley. John don't hate nobody, but John hates.
But listen, but I'm going to back you on this one. I'm going to tell you why I'm about to back it. I'm going to tell you why I'm backing this, because Big Beasley, I thought it was the best thing ever that they got him in April for all. I never forget it. I was like the first Big Beasley, a phenomenal athlete, an elite athlete, the best athlete of his class.
You're right about that.
But his problem was he relied on that too heavily.
Yep.
In college, if you looked at his tape, the speed rushes, the stunts, he was running around tackles and he was using his speed. I tell a lot of people even now, the worst thing that happened to Big Beasley as a pro was when he got into when he became an all-pro after getting those 16 and a half sacks that year that they went to the Super Bowl. Was the Super Bowl year or was the Super Bowl year? I said that was the worst thing that happened to him. You want to know why it was the worst thing that happened to him? Because he felt like he was everything he was doing, he was supposed to be doing, and was working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When that happened, he wasn't coachable. Period.
Yeah. Yep.
When that happened, you couldn't tell him anything. He just thought that his, athleticism was going to take him. And, and for me, don't even get me started on tech. We're not going to talk about tech right now.
No. That's another episode.
But for me, when you couldn't yell at Vic, you couldn't talk to Vic, he would just tune you out. That lets you know right there, he just simply wasn't coachable. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, if you're going to be a pro, you got to love it. You got to love the game if you're going to be a pro at it. It can't just be a passion anymore. You got to love it because it's your job. And to me, Vic, when Vic had to work at it, it stopped being fun for him.
Yeah.
When he realized he had to work for it, it just stopped being fun and he didn't want to play it anymore. Mm-hmm. So it just got to that point. And what really pissed me off about this, if we could see it, good and damn well, Quinn and Dimitrov could see it. Yeah. And they picked up his fifth-year option. That was strike one. When they did that, when they picked up his fifth-year option, I was ready. I was like, you know what? I need to find another team because this shit right here, I don't. I said, if I can see it and I'm watching it on TV,
right?
They know it. And that was Quinn's biggest problem, and it's still his problem to this day. He falls in love with players and he sticks with them through thick and thin. You can't do that in this league. Mm-hmm. He's doing it with Tack now. Yeah. He's bringing Tack back. And Tack hard played last season. So with Vic, and I say this to say this, elite athleticism is one thing. Yeah, if you're a great athlete, you have a chance in the NFL, but you can't just use that and think you're going to be good at it. No. Mm-hmm. That's why when people fall in love with players like Anthony Richardson or Justin Fields even, I mean, yeah, they have great traits. And I actually think Justin Fields is going to be a great player in this league. But when you start going off of that alone, you're going to set yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah. Yep.
Because a great athlete does not equate to a great pro. Mm-hmm. It never does in this league. Mm-hmm. That's why when people talk about Anthony Richardson and his arm and stuff, okay, that's great and all.
Yeah.
But
Dempsey said, why don't y'all talk about the real pressure issue? Where the fuck are the jersey numbers?
You know what, Adam? I've been looking for that every single day. I'm waiting for that Jesse Bates 30 to hit because I'm getting one. And I'm waiting to see who's going to end up wearing 0. I hope it's just Christian Gonzalez and then we all can be happy.
Yeah.
But I've been waiting on that one too. But like I said, I mean, being in love with an elite athlete is one thing. But I mean, playing in college, I mean, when you play Division I, Division II in college, I mean, when you're an athlete like Vic was, Malik Willis, and these players, Anthony Richardson, you're going to be, leaps and bounds above some of your competition. And the pros is not the same. If you're not working at your craft, you're not going to last long.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Lord said once one draft that TD failed, that TF would slam dunk.
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's a great question.
I would
Probably
like to think the one in
2012.
I was about to say 2012. I would think he would have done a lot better in 2012 than the Beatroff did.
Yeah.
Because that one,
Whew.
I said a lot of who that night.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, who?
Yeah.
I said that a
Yeah,
lot.
was,
Who?
a lot of
Who is
research
that?
going on that night. Yeah, exactly.
I was,
right.
yeah, that was really, that was laughingly bad. I laughed. It was so bad. I was so pissed. I was laughing at the end of the night after the draft is over. It was like,
If Pitts bounces back, wait a minute.
what's
Wait a
interesting?
minute. Stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
That man didn't fall off. He wasn't getting the ball. He didn't stop that. Don't do that.
Maybe he needs to bounce
with
back off the
Pitts,
injury.
to me, Pitts was a victim of the quarterback.
Yeah, that's all that
100%.
was.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely Miller time. I'm pretty psyched over Scotty Miller myself.
I am too, man. He's a 4.3 guy, man.
This dude is a track star. Forget the 4.3.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about Scotty Miller? You know how, and I said the same thing about Mac Hollins, but with Middle, it's on a totally different level. With Mac Hollins, people talk about his speed, and they say he has okay speed. But see, the difference with Mac Hollins is anybody that's run track now, and I used to run track. There's your start, the drive phase, then you get to your top end speed. Scotty Miller, he's like that in an instant. He eats a cushion in a hurry, and he stacks the corner so fast they don't know what hit him.
Nope.
And if you look in the backfield even a little bit, if you even think about looking, he's already past you.
Yeah, you're toast. Yeah.
So with him, his start and his top end speed are like second to none. So when you giving him a free release is like committing career suicide for the most part, because that you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And for me, Mac Hollins, for as big as he is, he gets to stop being a top speed in a hurry as well. He's just not as fast once he gets to top speed, but he does it in a hurry. He's up cushions in a hurry as well. But Miller, whew, that dude.
It's Miller time. I can't wait on them shirts. It's Miller time.
And what's funny about him is when you watch Miller, even when he breaks down and he comes out of his breaks and when he sinks his hips, he's so explosive out of his breaks. It's crazy how fast this kid is. Because there are a lot of species that are fast but are not very good at the route running thing. They're good for running those 9 routes and those 7 routes. Regular 7, 8, 9 routes, and they can do those. Because
all of you all have turned on Zacchaeus. All of you all have turned on Zacchaeus. How fast?
I haven't turned on Zacchaeus. Actually, what was funny about Zacchaeus was I actually thought they was just going to wait that whole thing out and just pick him up on the back end of things. I really did.
Same here.
So when they got Miller, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
All right, man. We're gonna end on this one because we've kept Ed for like 2 hours, so we're gonna let him get out of here. But it said, what wide receiver do you think the Falcons shall focus in the later rounds?
That's a very interesting question.
Yeah, I mean,
because I've looked at a lot of them.
Yeah.
And this wide receiver class is pretty deep.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, there is no true just standout number one receiver, but it's a deep class.
Yeah, you can find talent deep in there. I was trying to see who we had picked the other day. So we actually our mock draft on last week's show, we picked Matt Landers in round 7 out of Arkansas. Big 6'4", big dude.
Matt Landers is definitely an Arthur Smith type of receiver.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he fits the bill. Yeah, he definitely does.
But for me, it just depends on when you talk about the later rounds. It depends on what you're specifically looking for, because now to me, they've kind of thrown a bit of a wrench into it when they pulled when they got Miller.
Yeah.
We all said that they needed speed. We all said that they needed speed. I just didn't actually think they were going to do it. So when they did that, now if you're talking about somebody that's working as a slot receiver or the wide receiver, then you can look at somebody like that's kind of reminiscent or a speedster in that particular manner, like the wide receiver from. But then again, he's probably going to be a day 2 pick, Cincinnati, the one that's that knows Ritter, because I think he's going to be a guy that they will focus on. Day 2.
Tyler Scott.
Yeah. I think that's probably somebody they're looking at. Late rounds, like I said, there are just so many. And at that particular point, when you start going into the later rounds, they're going to start looking at receivers at that particular point that can give them some type of special teams value anyway. Absolutely. So you got to think about all of that. when you start thinking about focusing on later rounds and wide receivers in later rounds.
Another one we got was Puka out of BYU in the later rounds. So that was one that we thought that popped up too. Yeah. So yeah, it's possibilities.
That pretty much fits.
Now I don't know what I'm talking about, but my man is Cole Tucker. He's from Northern Illinois. Do y'all remember Jordy Nelson?
Of course.
It's the new Jordy Nelson. That's all I'm saying. He's pretty fucking good, but I haven't heard anyone else talking about him, so I'm probably wrong. So I'm gonna shut up.
You know what's funny, but you know what's interesting about that is the interesting thing about that is, I mean, they're going to be players that people are drafted that nobody hears, because when scouts do this all year, they don't just we do this during draft season.
Right.
Scouts do this year round. So there are going to be some people that come out, especially the later rounds, that nobody's heard of.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are going to be some. I mean, there have been a few that I haven't heard. I think last year was the only one of the only years that I heard of every prospect that they drafted, or I already looked at.
Yeah.
But before that, I'd be like, wait a minute, who is that? I don't know.
100%. Yeah. Out of North Dakota.
I don't have a note on him. Wait a minute. Let me just look at him real quick.
Troy Anderson came out of nowhere for everybody.
Now, I knew about Troy.
I knew about Troy. See, that's Ev.
But see, Troy
came out of
in Montana State. This dude was everything on that team.
Yeah.
It was hard.
The linebacker, the quarterback, the running back.
He was everybody.
Yeah.
So with him, you were pretty much betting on his traits and his athleticism than anything, because he was just completely raw at the linebacker position. Because I think he only played that full time his senior year, and you could tell he was raw at it. I mean, because with his spacing, and you could tell his instincts were lacking because he just hadn't played the position long. For me, it was one of the things, because he's so smart and because he's so driven, and because he's so competitive, I felt like his ceiling was going to be really high once the right coach got him, and the right coach has him. Frank Bush, right? The right coach has him, so I believe that Troy is going to be. I think he's going to be a monster.
Me too, man. Especially when next to Ellis and whoever else they add. Yeah, that's going to be.
Last question. The last question, my man Av, do we have a window to win a Super Bowl, or am I out of my Falcon mind?
A window right now? No. I do think they have a window in regards to when they should be a playoff team. And that needs to start now.
Yep.
The way I see it is, now this is just me. After the first and second years, both Terry Fontenot and both Fontenot and Arthur Smith came into a really, really volatile situation. Not only did they have an aging QB and an aging wide receiver, but they had a cap situation that was absolutely horrid. So there was a lot that had to be done to just clear the slate and get them to a point where they can actually build a roster the way they want. So to me, that was the year. To me, this is the start of it all. To me, this is where it starts, because you had to give Fontenot a chance. You put the team in a position where they could get the quality players and get the roster the way they wanted to get them. And honestly, I gave them a mulligan on year one, because Fontenot was hired after Smith. So Fontenot had to come in as a GM. He had to get to know his staff. He had to get to know his scouts. He had to get to know his head coach and what the head coach liked. And the whole coaching staff and what they were going to buy into in regards to the culture and how the team was going to be constructed before hitting the draft. That's why I didn't mind the Kyle Pitts pick at 4, because in his position, you need to go for a no-brainer at this point.
Yeah,
you need to have a player. Period. You don't go in there and say, "Oh, I don't know what he wants," and then because, like I said, you just get to know everybody. You just give me a ball player. Let's get Kyle Pitts and call it a day. Because at that particular point, you just have to do that. Now, year 2, you're still trying to build a team, but you're on a budget. And at this particular point, you got to hope you're drafting well and you're developing talent. Last year was a pretty good draft, as opposed to the first one. I thought the first one was, it was kind of iffy. But at the same time, like I said, it was his first year as a GM, and he's still trying to get to know everybody. The second year, he did a much better job. So for me, this is the way I see it. Year 3 and year 4, they have to submit themselves as a playoff team. Now, what we see out of Ritter this year tells me what further they have to do in regards to making themselves a Super Bowl contender.
Okay.
So, to me, I can start determining that window after this season is up.
Okay.
So that being
You
stated,
can be happy about that.
2024 to 2026, they should be they really should be in that talk of where they're Super Bowl contenders. That's where I think they need to be at that particular point.
You heard it from Ev.
There you go.
We winning the Super Bowl in 5 years. He said it.
I
You
didn't
see how I
say that. I
just took
said
something he said and made it my own. Hey,
but yeah, based on
Ev,
everything.
Man, before we leave, Ev, I just have to tell you this, man. It's a trait that you have that I respect so much, and I truly had to tell you. All right, you don't, especially, but even pros on TV, man, they cannot talk about a player without bringing up the fucked up part about his personal life, or something he did, or his mistake, his like low point. And I never have seen you do that, not one occasion. And you could do it a lot because you are on, especially when you tweet, you are like you're being attacked. So you can defend yourself with, oh, well, he's a piece of shit, a human being, or well, here go this point. And you you stick to the point that you made from the jump. It was a football point. So you stick to the football point when you could get off on somebody's manhood or their personal life, or even like Jalen Carter or anything like that. So I always want to tell you, man, I respect that about you. I appreciate that. And please keep doing that, man. We need way more of that, of people that just, you always stick to your football point. And I don't ever feel like that you get personal so that you can win an argument, and you never try to trash the grown adult as a man. Like, you just stick to the football point. So I appreciate that, buddy. I had to tell you that.
I appreciate that, brother. And to me, that's what this is about. When you start trashing people's personalities and their lives, I mean, there's no point for this to get personal. It's football. It's entertainment. That's what it is. And you don't, I mean, even when they talk about and attack these kids, these are kids. These literally are kids, 19, 20-year-old kids. And we all make mistakes. I know I made a ton of them at that age. In undergrad, what? Dude. I could write a book of all the shit that I've done and been through. So to me, it's overly judgmental. And I hate when people are high and mighty and they start doing that, because you don't know these kids' struggle. You don't know their story. You don't know where they came from. Keep it football, period.
And you do a great job of that, buddy. I love you for that. I really do. I appreciate it, brother.
Love you.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, and Travis, real quick, he said, how are we comfortable with this strong safety position? We kind of hit on it a little bit earlier, man. I think we'll know this year, because like we said, Jesse's going to do a lot for Richie. So Richie should flourish. So we'll know pretty quickly how that's going to work out. And Tisha, what do y'all think everyone said when MM went back to the sign after he threw that ball into the abyss in Carolina? I don't think they said shit. I think they just sat there and were like,
said, sorry, man. That's on me.
Oh, man. All right, man. Yeah, man, buddy. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, man.
It's been so much fun, fellas. I'm glad I was able to do it with you guys. It's been a blast.
Oh, man. Got to do it again for sure.
Man.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. So tell everybody, man, where they can find you on Twitter and what you got going on, man.
Yeah, I write for the Falcoholic. I'm pretty much one of the draft specialists there. You can find me on the Falcoholic at any point. And my Twitter handle is Everett_G07. Follow me and for a lot of rational football taste, because I am, if nothing else, rational.
Hell yes, absolutely, man. That's where, I mean, we've been following you for longer than we've done this podcast, actually. But you know, once we got kind of going and we met Dave and got him on a few times, and we've made some awesome connections, man. So it's just nice to have another one and nice to have you on, man. So
it's been great with you guys, and we're going to definitely do this again.
Oh, heck yeah. Absolutely, man. So, actually, you know what? Our 100th show will be on the 19th. So you got to pop in for a few minutes.
Without doubt. I'm here all day.
Yeah. We're going to, I think Dave's coming by, and we'll have Adam probably going to come by. We'll have
You're bringing nice Dave? Oh, man, I don't think I'm coming. I'm sorry. I love you, Dave.
Hey, my man.
Oh, it's hilarious, man. But anyway, yeah, look, guys, y'all hung out with us for 2 hours. We appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you.
Hit that like button for us. Make sure you hit the subscription. Go tell a friend. family member, man, go check us out, and we'll keep on growing and doing what we're doing. We're going to be back on Saturday this week. We're having a special little Saturday show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing this so we can line our shows up to hit 100 before the draft, because we're actually going to live stream the draft that night. So we'll have some fun with that too. Again, Ev, welcome to come out on draft night. We'll be sitting here watching. So
yeah, I'm coming in too.
Yeah,
I have a lot to discuss.
Absolutely, yeah. So guys, you can check us out on Twitter, Out of Your Effing Mind. You can email us at atlfalconfancast@gmail.com, like Brian did. Brian, appreciate you again, man, for sending that email in. TikTok, you can. Mike's got a TikTok going on. Make sure y'all follow that. I got some
stuff coming this week. It's gonna be good.
We've got some good stuff coming this week. If y'all like the 10 stages video, you'll like what's coming up. So, again, man, we appreciate y'all for joining us tonight and listening on Spotify, iTunes. If you're on listening to us on Spotify or iTunes, drop us a 5-star review. Helps us grow on those platforms as well. So that's it, guys, man. Appreciate y'all. Ev, again, thanks again, buddy.
Thank you, Ev.
And we will see y'all on Saturday. Much love, folks.
Out of your Falcon mind.